Okay, guys. Organic farming. Sorry, give me a second. My tank top is bugging me. So gross down here right now. Organic farming. Organic farming is the diametric opposite of conventional agriculture in philosophy, but not always in methodology. While organic producers work hard to avoid industrially produced pesticides and herbicides, they aren't always able to. The primary goal of organic farming is not avoiding these things, but instead acting in a manner that's sustainable and holistic. That means the standards of care for an organic operation are a bit different. The overall effectiveness of a pesticide has less impact on deciding to use it than the effect the pesticide has on the local ecology. To give you an example, one of my favorite pesticides to use is a product called food grade diatomaceous earth, or DE. Okay, no, I don't have a problem with that. It's completely safe for humans and animals. It's even used by some as a supplement. There's some disagreement on how DE works. It either scratches the carapace on an insect, leading to tissue failure, or dehydrates an insect, leading to death. Either way, it's a very effective pesticide with no harmful side effects to humans or animals, and it has a minimal impact on soil health over the long term. In fact, it may actually improve soil health by increasing calcium levels slightly with long-term use. I rarely ever use it. I haven't gotten it before, but I've done quite a bit of research on it. Why? Because it's an indiscriminate killer. Lisa Rayburn, an extension agent in Onslow County, North Carolina, explained it to me, and I'm thankful for her expertise. Pro tip: find smarter people than you to learn from. For me, it's easy. Nearly everyone is smarter than me, but if not, then learn from Lisa. She's an excellent soil scientist with years of knowledge and experience under her belt. Since DE damages any insect with an exoskeleton, which is just about all of them, it also kills insects that I like: bees, ladybugs, and assassin bugs. Lisa explained ways I could minimize the damage, but since bees have it hard enough, I ultimately decided that it wasn't worth using, except in very specific situations where I know beneficial insects won't come in contact with it. For me and for most other organic farmers and gardeners, the situation is a perfect example of what organic methods are: a measured and carefully considered response to agricultural challenges that encompasses the needs of the farmer, the safety of the consumer, and the health of the ecology itself. While there are many different methods of achieving those things, organic producers all share that holistic approach. I encourage everyone to bear that in mind during their homesteading journey. Not everyone will agree with you on how you achieve your homestead, but chances are, if they're interested in the movement, they will support the same philosophies and ideas, so don't use litmus tests. Okay, I guess I will just continue and do all of this in one instead of several separate ones. Permaculture. Permaculture is an offshoot of organic principles and views agricultural systems even more holistically, if possible. Just as much philosophy as agriculture, permaculture advocates expand the concept of farming into a reflection on human existence in a lot of ways. Permaculture is food foresting. Look up the Gardening Channel with James Prigioni. A pioneer of permaculture, Masanobu Fukuoka called the movement do-nothing farming. Permaculturists thrive on three main principles: care for the earth, care for the people, and return of surplus. Essentially, the idea is that caring for the earth leads to greater yields with less work and expense, which allows permaculturists to care for the people, who must serve as stewards for the earth. The people return the surplus of energy and materials back into the earth by utilizing compost and dedicating time saved to increasing their stewardship. Excuse me. Done properly, it's a beautiful system, but the system takes a lot of time and energy, and doesn't necessarily put the desires of the individual gardener or farmer front and center. For example, you want to grow a crop not normally associated with your climate or region. Permaculture and its advocates would strongly advise against that, as doing so would increase the amount of inputs and energy required, which could be used for other crops and systems that would produce more food with less effort. Now, I agree with this, but this is where the greenhouse comes in if you need it. You know what I mean? Another drawback of permaculture is the high initial investment. Food forest, a key component in many permaculture operations, usually won't provide a high level of return on investment for about 3 years, the time it takes for trees to produce a good fruit harvest. That actually makes the method better suited for small operators. It's a lot cheaper to keep 1 acre going for 3 years while waiting on a harvest to come to fruition than it is to keep 200 acres running for 3 years. And that's true. But, small homesteaders, food forest is great. To learn more about permaculture and its methods, check out Fukuoka's book, The One Straw Revolution, Bill Mollison's Introduction to Permaculture, and David Holmgren's Permaculture, Principles and Pathways Beyond Sustainability. Also check out anything by Joel Salatin. Salatin's work with holistic pasture management and meat production at his operation, Polyface Farms, has made him a sustainable agricultural star. Biodynamics. Biodynamics is, in my opinion, one of the most fun and controversial methods of organic agriculture in use today. Blah. It's also probably the oldest movement in organic agriculture. Derided by critics as witchcraft, pseudoscience, and snake oil, the movement emphasizes a spiritual approach to agriculture and farming. Hey, I'll pray over my plants. As far as the homestead goes, I turn the whole thing over to God, because you know what? It's His to begin with. Some of its methods share similarities with notions of animism and sympathetic magic. Okay, I don't agree with that. I'm sorry, I just don't. Which are often associated with folkways and tribal cultures. Surprisingly enough, however, it appears to work. Yeah, I will not get into this because I'm not gonna go into detail, but no. Just no, this is a skull and crossbones for me. Surprising, okay. In the 90s, the Egyptian Ministry of Agriculture converted all of the country's commercial cotton acreage over to biodynamic production, according to reporting a 30% increase in yields. Biodynamic vintners report increased yields and better wine. The whole movement has a storied history. Rudolf Steiner, a philosopher, held a series of lectures on agriculture in the early 1920s. The lectures were later expanded upon to create the biodynamic movement and is considered the beginning of modern organic agriculture movement. Its critics accuse the movement of being a hoax, and skeptics claim the movement's results can be replicated with any form of organic agriculture. Its methods, to be fair, can be downright weird. There's strange combinations of material, including cow horns, ground quartz, and stag's bile. Yeah. And crops are planted according to a calendar that takes into account the movement of planets, moons, and constellations, giving it an astrological feel. But like I said, it's pretty neat, kind of fun, and a surprisingly economical method of organic agriculture. If you're interested, pick up a copy of the Stella Natura, the Biodynamic Planting Calendar, Biodynamic Gardening, a DK book, or a Biodynamic Manual, Practical Instructions for Farmers and Gardeners by Pierre Masson, Masson. Alright, definition. A food forest is an orchard designed to produce food for animals and people and over a length of time integrating more than just fruit and nut trees. For example, animals will sometimes graze in between trees in an orchard, fertilizing the ground with their droppings and reduce competition for resources. Leafy greens or shade-loving vegetables will be grown under the trees, increasing the efficiency in how the space is used. Younger trees can serve as supports for climbing vegetables such as beans, squash, and cucumbers. Weed control. Weeds are, hands down, the biggest hurdle many beginning farmers and homesteaders and gardeners will face. Not having a plan for weed control is like having a weed growing plan. You're either fighting them or encouraging them. Here are some, mostly organic, weed control methods. Plastic. And plastic is kind of, because the sun on the plastic is putting the chemicals from that plastic back into your soil and therefore into your food. So not a great idea, but I will read this anyway. A heavy gauge plastic will block out sunlight, killing weeds. You can use a reusable tarp or any dark color plastic to get the job done, such as the black garden plastic, but again, it leaches chemicals into your soil. Some farmers will put the plastic down and then cut holes in it to plant seeds and transplants. It's a relatively good method of weed control, but the plastic will break down due to UV radiation. And again, leaching chemicals into your soil. It can also be difficult to remove at the end of the season, which means you could wind up with bits of plastic in your soil. That prevents many pure-minded organic gardeners and farmers from using it. The plastic also prevents water from reaching the soil, so using a drip irrigation system is necessary. And again, it puts chemicals in your soil. Solarizing. Solarization involves using sheets of clear plastic to cover patches of earth. Sunlight penetrates the plastic and creates a greenhouse effect underneath it. The soil and the weeds around it are cooked, killing weeds and many weed seeds that live in the soil, which prevents new weeds from growing after the plastic is removed. This method works best during the hottest summer months. Again, a heavy gauge plastic is required, which will break down under UV light. The plastic needs to be tight against the soil and sealed at the edges. Garden staples work well to keep it tight to the ground. To seal the edges, bury them in a couple of inches of soil. Let it sit for at least a few weeks. Cultivation. Tilling weeds under as they come up, either with a tiller, hoe, or cultivator, will eliminate most weeds. It is a lot of work, however, and a time commitment. It must be done often, at least every 3 days, in order to be effective. And it's backbreaking. Alright, that is the end of Chapter 6, guys, and we're on to Chapter 7, Animal Husbandry, which takes in the basics, of course: meat, milk, eggs, fish, fiber, and more. Meat, your meat breeds, milk, eggs, fish, fiber, bees, bugs, and worms, and miscellaneous. And then keeping your animals healthy and animal shelter basics. Chickens, goats, rabbits, keeping your animals happy. And I will get this up there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. Don't forget to leave comments. I want to hear from everybody. And remember to like and share the videos. Share them on all your platforms. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed yet. And hit the notification bell. Hit the notification bell. And don't forget to click on all, because I do tend to upload quite a bit. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.